This is a jail cell? Some of the world's richest and most powerful criminals checked into 5-star luxury suites with spa treatments and gourmet meals. What if I told you this prison is so luxurious, it feels more like a 5-star hotel than a place of punishment? 5. Takumbu Prison. Behind the bars of Takumbu Prison, luxury takes an unexpected form, where opulence and power collide in a world far from ordinary incarceration. Inside the walls of Takumbu Prison in Paraguay, a secret world once thrived. While chaos and overcrowding defined much of the prison, one inmate lived like royalty. His name was Jarvis Ximenes Pavon, a powerful drug lord who turned his prison sentence into a lifestyle most people on the outside could only dream of. Pavon's cell wasn't really a cell. It was a private suite. 3 separate rooms made up his quarters: a plush bedroom, a conference room for meetings, and a fully equipped kitchen. The ensuite bathroom had stylish tiled walls, far from the grime and steel you'd expect behind bars. Air conditioning kept the rooms cool in the sweltering heat, and the furniture was anything but basic. He had a plasma screen TV mounted on the wall, a DVD collection that included a series on Pablo Escobar, and even a personal library. For exercise, he used a treadmill in the comfort of his suite. Storage wasn't an issue either. He had ample space for clothing and personal belongings. Phones and internet access were at his fingertips. And unlike other inmates, he enjoyed unrestricted visitation rights. Friends, family, and even associates could come and go. Security was never a concern. Pavon had that covered. He hired fellow inmates to act as his personal bodyguards. Their loyalty was guaranteed, not just by fear or respect, but by the generous pay he offered. His wealth also funded improvements throughout the prison, such as a renovated chapel, a new football pitch, and better accommodations for the staff. These upgrades weren't acts of kindness. They were strategic investments to keep his kingdom running smoothly. The secret to this extravagant setup was corruption, layers upon layers of it. Pavon didn't just bribe guards, he reached the top, paying off multiple prison directors and even justice ministers to maintain his luxurious lifestyle. Takumbu became more than a prison. For one man, it was a base of operations, a fortress of comfort, and a symbol of how power can twist the system. It wasn't until authorities finally raided his suite that the full extent of his influence was exposed. But by then, the story of Paraguay's most luxurious prison cell had already become legend. 4. Sukamiskin Prison. In Indonesia's Sukamiskin Prison, wealth buys more than freedom. Sukamiskin Prison in Indonesia stands as a stark example of how luxury and corruption can blend behind bars. Here, the price of comfort was staggering, anywhere between 200 million and 500 million rupiah, roughly $13,800 to $34,500. For those with enough money and connections, the prison walls didn't mean confinement. Inside, the upgraded cells resembled small studio apartments. Each was air-conditioned, a rare luxury in Indonesia's tropical heat, offering immediate relief from the sweltering outside world. A television is quietly in the corner, and a refrigerator is stocked with snacks and drinks. The bathrooms were private, equipped with water heaters that allowed inmates to escape the chill of cold showers. The furnishings were surprisingly comfortable. Plush beds, elegant chairs, and neat tables gave the illusion of normalcy in an abnormal place. Many cells had compact kitchens, where inmates could prepare meals in privacy. The usual rules were bent here. Some inmates even held keys to their cells, allowing them freedom of movement within the prison. Beyond the physical comforts, privileges extended to temporary leaves from prison without escorts, a luxury unheard of in most correctional systems. Cell phones and other electronic devices were permitted, providing a vital link to the outside world and a channel for influence and communication. None of this came without a heavy price. And a darker story. These luxuries were bought and sold through a web of bribes. High-ranking prison officials, including the head warden, were deeply involved, accepting not only cash, but also luxury cars, in exchange for turning a blind eye and granting special privileges. This corrupt system functioned smoothly until Indonesia's Corruption Eradication Commission, KPK, launched a daring raid. What they uncovered shook the nation, a network of greed that infiltrated one of its most guarded institutions. 3rd Halden Prison. Far from the typical image of prison, Norway's Halden prison redefines confinement by blending cutting-edge design with a focus on rehabilitation and humane living. Halden prison in Norway stands out not because it's built to punish, but because it's designed to heal. It's one of the most expensive prisons in the world, costing around $252 million to build. Walking into Halden feels more like stepping into a high-end community than a prison. Each inmate has a private room, spacious and bright, with their own bathroom. These rooms come equipped with flat-screen TVs and mini-fridges, comforts that allow prisoners to maintain a semblance of normal life. The windows are tall and unbarred, designed to invite natural light and fresh air in. Instead of cold steel and concrete, you find warm wooden paneling and thoughtfully designed furniture. Communal areas encourage interaction and skill building. The kitchens and lounges are modern and inviting, where inmates prepare their own meals and share conversations like any household. This sense of community extends outdoors, too. The prison grounds feature walking trails, green spaces, and sports fields, offering freedom of movement and connection with nature. But the facilities go beyond the basics. Halden includes a fully equipped gym where inmates can train their bodies, a music studio for creative expression, and a well-stocked library that rivals many public ones. Visitors can stay overnight in family visitation units, small apartments designed to recreate a home environment. This innovative approach acknowledges the importance of relationships in reducing recidivism. Education and vocational training programs run daily, giving inmates skills to rebuild their lives on release. Second Justice Center, Leoben, Austria's Justice Center. Leoben challenges everything we think we know about prisons, offering inmates a glimpse of dignity and comfort rarely seen behind bars. Justice Center Leoben in Austria stands as a striking anomaly in the world of incarceration, a facility where the lines between punishment and comfort blur in a way few prisons dare to explore. Designed by renowned architect Joseph Hohensen and completed in 2004, this prison breaks the mold entirely. Housing up to 205 inmates serving sentences of less than 18 months, each cell in Leoben is a private sanctuary. These are not cramped windowless boxes, but well-appointed rooms featuring ensuite bathrooms, kitchenettes, and televisions. The attention to detail is remarkable. The balconies attached to many cells offer inmates the rare luxury of fresh air and a glimpse of the outside world. The architecture itself is breathtaking, with sleek glass facades and open spaces that emphasize transparency and light. The interiors avoid the usual prison austerity and instead invite a calming atmosphere. Floor-to-ceiling windows bathe the living spaces in sunlight, an intentional design choice that supports mental well-being. Even the building materials and colors were selected to create a warm, humane environment rather than a punitive one. Beyond individual cells, Leoben offers an impressive array of amenities that challenge conventional notions of incarceration. A fully equipped gym provides inmates with the means to stay physically active, while outdoor sports areas and table tennis tables encourage recreation and social interaction. These facilities serve not just as pastimes, but as vital components in the rehabilitation process, promoting health and camaraderie. Spiritual care is also a priority at Leoben, with prayer rooms accommodating a variety of religious practices. This commitment to inmates' diverse needs extends into daily life. Prisoners cook their own meals using fresh ingredients, with options that respect dietary restrictions like veganism and halal. The prison has moved away from the traditional use of uniforms, allowing inmates to wear their own clothing, a powerful gesture toward restoring individuality and dignity. Visitation policies here reflect the center's progressive philosophy. Inmates enjoy unrestricted visitation rights without the need for prior appointments, maintaining crucial connections with family and friends. This open approach helps preserve social bonds that are essential for successful reintegration after release. However, Leoben's luxurious setup hasn't escaped criticism. Detractors argue that such comfort risks undermining the punitive purpose of prisons, with some labeling it a designer prison. They fear these amenities could be seen as rewards rather than opportunities for reform, potentially blurring the line between punishment and privilege. Despite these debates, Justice Center Leoben remains a bold experiment in correctional design. It challenges the idea that prisons must be bleak and dehumanizing, and instead offers a vision where respect, rehabilitation, and human dignity are front and center. First, Ritz-Carlton, Riyadh. In Riyadh, The infamous Ritz-Carlton transformed overnight from a luxury hotel to a high-security detention center where indulgence and imprisonment exist side by side. The Ritz-Carlton in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, is unlike any prison the world has ever seen. What was once a symbol of luxury hospitality was transformed into a high-security detention center during the 2017 anti-corruption purge, creating a surreal juxtaposition of opulence and incarceration. Imagine being held behind bars in one of the most lavish hotels globally, where the usual cold austerity of prison walls was replaced by gold-plated fixtures, plush carpets, and gourmet dining. The ultimate paradox of punishment wrapped in extravagance. This wasn't a prison designed for the average inmate. Instead, it housed some of the kingdom's most powerful and wealthy elites, princes, billionaires, and high-ranking officials accused of corruption. Their cells were the hotel's luxury suites, complete with elegant furnishings, marble bathrooms, and panoramic views of Riyadh's skyline. Every detail exuded wealth and comfort, from the high thread count linens to the crystal chandeliers hanging in the ballrooms that were repurposed as dormitories. Detainees had access to amenities that far surpass most correctional facilities worldwide. Satellite televisions allowed them to stay connected to news and entertainment, while room service delivered gourmet meals prepared by world-class chefs. The atmosphere was one of controlled indulgence, carefully balanced with stringent security measures. Windows were bolted shut, and the premises were under constant surveillance, blending luxury with layers of intense scrutiny. Unlike typical prisons with their harsh, unforgiving conditions, the Ritz-Carlton detainees could enjoy spa treatments, fitness facilities, and even relax in lavish lounges designed for comfort and privacy. The hotel's renowned spa, which once welcomed tourists from across the globe, was available to those inside, offering massages and wellness therapies, a stark contrast to the grim environments usually associated with incarceration. However, luxury here came with a price beyond the extravagant surroundings. Many detainees were compelled to sign over assets as part of settlement agreements orchestrated by the Saudi government. This anti-corruption campaign reportedly recovered over $100 billion, making the Ritz-Carlton not only a detention center, but also a powerful tool for political and financial leverage. The use of the Ritz-Carlton as a prison was a calculated statement, combining ultimate luxury with undeniable control. It sent a clear message. Even the wealthiest and most influential were not beyond the reach of justice. But the manner of their detention was unprecedented. The lines between privilege and punishment blurred, creating an experience where confinement came with comfort, but freedom was still firmly out of reach. In the end, the Ritz-Carlton Riyadh prison remains a one-of-a-kind chapter in the history of incarceration, a place where the world's finest luxury met the unforgiving reality of power and accountability. It redefined what it means to be behind bars, proving that even in captivity, extravagance can persist, but it never replaces the loss of freedom. From hidden suites funded by inmates to prisons that feel more like five-star resorts, these extraordinary facilities challenge everything we think about incarceration. They reveal a world where luxury and punishment collide in ways both shocking and thought-provoking. Curious to dive deeper into the most unbelievable stories of wealth, power, and confinement? Hit follow and stay tuned. There's so many more lavish luxuries you won't want to miss.